Welcome to IAS Market Talk, your trusted source for timely ag market insights, brought to you by Innovative Ag Services. Each week, we break down the latest beef market trends impacting Northeast Iowa and Southwest Wisconsin, with expert updates tailored specifically for our IAS members. This week, you'll hear directly from Dave Rueber, IAS Beef Production Specialist, who brings decades of experience and deep knowledge of the cattle industry to these conversations. Dave has been providing market updates to producers for years, and now he's bringing those insights straight to you through this podcast. Tune in weekly for what you need to know straight from people you know. With that, here's Dave Rueber with the latest on what's happening in the cattle markets this week.
David Rueber, Beef Production Specialist for Innovative Ag Services, calling with a beef market commentary for September 24th. Last week we traded cattle a little softer. 237 FOB was kind of the standard price across our area. There was a few cattle got priced a tick better than that, but for our neck of the woods, 237 was catching most of the sales. They didn't get a lot of cattle bought last week. The South, Kansas and Texas sold cattle for closer to that 240 number. They are now firmly running a little bit higher than what we are running for prices. So it's been a while since we've had to say that, but right now the deal's got the South a little tighter supply on feed numbers versus where we are at. They're a little more current down there too. The thing that you probably need to watch the most is we're looking at box beef prices that just continue to plummet. It was only 3-4 weeks ago, Labor Day kind of time frame, we had choice boxes in that 415, 418 range. Now we're looking at 380. So that's a seasonal deal. They drop after Labor Day, but this has been a little bigger drop than what we kind of expected. Like I said, taking that profitability out of what the Packers were doing. They continue to cut back the kills, trying to drive the boxes up, but have been unsuccessful so far. So that's kind of where we're at. Got to watch this deal. Feels like this week, we had a big update early in the week on the futures market. We gave a little bit of that back today. I guess watch what nothing's really traded yet this week, which is a good sign. Watch what that board does tomorrow. If that board's up tomorrow, people will probably hold out, not sell anything, and we'll go into Friday and sell cash cattle on Friday. If that board is down hard tomorrow, you're probably going to see people let cattle go for probably steady money, 237, give or take. So watch what the futures market does tomorrow. That'll lead the way. Like I said, if that futures is higher, I don't think we'll see anything trade. And then we go into Friday, we probably get a little bump in this market. If it's down tomorrow, we're probably looking at steady money. So just kind of keep a watch on that thing. Feeder cattle for the first time in quite some time actually showing maybe a tick of weakness. There's not a lot of yearlings moving this time of year. A good 8-weight steer going to run in that 360 range, give or take a little bit. Like I said, that would maybe be a tick softer than what we've been the last couple weeks. Cost of gains, I'm still using that 90 to 95 for steers, 95 to $1 for heifers, depending on where you want to price the corn at and depending on what winter weather does to these cost of gains. So that's kind of some numbers. A lot of these break-evens on these cattle getting bought right now are in that 240 plus range, which would make them unhedgeable. Those deferred futures do not support a 240 fat market. Doesn't mean fat market can't be 240. You just can't hedge them the day you buy them. So kind of where we're at, I don't see this market free falling. It feels like we've kind of found a range we're going to stay in. What's that range? I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say you're looking at a range somewhere between 235 and 245 for the next few months. And if we're going to see a big rally, it's probably going to take, nasty winter weather to cause another $10 to $15 up. So we'll see. Watch this deal. Watch that box price and watch the futures market tomorrow. That'll dictate what happens this week. Once again, my name is David Rueber, Beef Production Specialist for Innovative Ag. Thank you.
That's it for this week's episode of IAS Market Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an update. And if you know a fellow producer who could benefit from this information, share this episode with them. For more updates and insights, visit innovativeag.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We'll catch you next time on IAS Market Talk.
Are you ready for a hands-on role with purpose? Join the facility operations team at Innovative Ag Services, where we value hard work, safety, and community. With locations across Northeast and Central Iowa and Southwest Wisconsin, we offer industry-leading benefits, on-the-job training, and a culture that supports your growth. From competitive pay to a uniform allowance, we invest in our team. Grow with IAS and discover your co-opportunity. Apply today at innovativeag.com.